Welcome, everybody. Here we are.
Here we are.
This is totally gnarly.
This-
so
this
we
happened.
are. This happened. So we are we're live. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make this happen. We're I guess we're not live, but hey, what the hell? We'll call it that. We're having fun. We got a special guest here today, Darren from Edmonton Prop Museum (EPM). Super cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, be sure to go and check it out. It is gnarly. He's going to talk to us about all sorts of really cool shit. He's got all authentic props from movies, verified, the whole kit and caboodle. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to let him do it. We are fourth gen.
The fourth gen podcast. We have a name.
We have a name.
Can you
we
believe
did
it?
We did it, people.
We did it. We picked a name.
Did it. It's unbelievable. Darren, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. So, Darren, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I've always been a collector. My collection probably got 3-4 times too big for the house. This time last year, we had an opportunity to take a different career path, and I thought it'd be fun to open a non-profit museum where people could actually come and enjoy the stuff that I had sitting in storage. So.
Which is totally gnarly. And so tell us about some of the stuff that you got going on here. Like today you brought us some really cool stuff. The gauntlet from Spider-Man 3. The Goblin.
The Goblin, yeah, the James. Yeah, you got to call him the new Goblin. You can't call him the Green Goblin. That's the Blade Gauntlet. That's screen used.
Yeah.
I try to collect, something like this goes through many different changes before it actually makes it to screen. So I actually have 3 different prototypes of this, that single blade, double blade, and this blade. And this is the final version that you actually see James Franco wearing on screen.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's important to tell the story. There's so much more goes into something than what you actually see for 5 or 10 seconds at the cinema, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how do you find this stuff? Like this is, I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing. Like people look at Hollywood movies and go like, oh wow, but like don't think about grabbing the stuff or getting a hold of the cool authentic things.
Yeah, it's so mainstream now. No? You can go on eBay, and if you search screen used movie prop, thousands of listings will come up.
Right.
If you know what you're looking for, you can find some bargains. You can find some stuff that you shouldn't really touch. And it's just when you become a collector and you build your collection over time, you get to meet people, and then you get introduced to people that you would never normally see. And when you get to a certain level, you get the opportunity to deal direct with actors and directors and effects houses, and you get the opportunity to buy stuff that doesn't even make it to the public forum, which is good and bad if you're a collector, because if you're a collector, you've already got that OCD gene. So if you're not searching for it and somebody phones you, it's like, oh, double whammy, right?
So initially, like when you first got into it, what would you do to, like if you see something on eBay, let's say, or you see a listing for something, how do you even begin to say, okay, is this the real deal? Like, how do you go about authenticating, or is it a lot of just
there's different ways of doing it. Reliable sources, there are people that you can buy from where you're guaranteed that the piece is authentic, and do your homework. You take a look at something, you can spend the time to sit and find it during the scene, and then that tells its own story, right?
Right.
There's screen matching's it's a very commonly used phrase, and if you can find a definitive screen match because of unique features of something like material or blemishes or cracks or scratches, then it's
so they actually go through the movie and
just
catch
find
a frame.
frame by frame. Yeah,
Nice.
Complete nerd. Yeah, you just sit there. Blu-ray
probably do that
pause,
anyway,
Blu-ray pause, yeah. But no, it's you've just got to do your homework, right?
Yeah.
There's too many people out there who are quite happy just to throw money at something that clearly isn't what people are saying it is, right? It happens all the time. So.
And your wife jumped on board with this.
She did, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's a diamond. Yeah,
She's a diamond, is right.
I should say my wife's thoughts on props kind of changed when we got the Brad Pitt gauntlet from World War Z. When that arrived, we found out it had a whole bunch of Brad Pitt's arm hair stuck to the duct tape. So all of a sudden, she's a fan of props. But no, she's an absolute diamond. She supports me 110%, and she was a huge support when we went into the museum and the design stage and everything. So
that's awesome. Oh, that's good. That's good. So I mean,
Yeah,
you must not be able to just watch movies like any ordinary regular guy.
completely ruined.
Right.
Ruined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get into it and you start to find out how stuff works, and you speak to people who actually do the stuff behind the scenes, it's you find yourself dissecting a movie as you watch it, right? It's like I'm not the best person to watch a movie with,
Right.
and especially when you get into scenes where, I'm a huge fan of the practical, and when you get into something that's clearly CGI, that's,
Oh, there's this new trend, like guns don't actually go off anymore
nope.
on movie sets.
No way.
That's so
Yeah.
So I just and it's gotten better, I guess, like
Yeah.
CGI wise, but a lot of before they used to fire blanks like crazy, like they'd fire off like hundreds of rounds, like they were actually shooting the guns, and now it's like you see the CGI muzzle flash and the CGI like blood instead of using gags.
Everything's just
Like,
like
it's just-
it's
yeah.
like when you were a kid playing cowboys, you just shoot up and be like pew pew pew, but they can't even make that noise, right? They have to they've got this weapon of mass destruction, and it's not doing anything until it hits post production, right? So that's got to be really difficult as an actor.
No kidding.
You-
Like that's
yeah, like, how do you do
skill.
that?
Like that is skill. Well, I mean, like there's some guys out there on YouTube making some pretty gnarly, gnarly movies, gnarly videos and stuff like that. There was I'm trying to think of his last Wong. I just can't remember what his name is. He Rocket Jump is his YouTube page. But anyway, he'd have the tutorials how to had the airsoft guns, and they paint them, and then so at least you get like the muzzle
blowback,
flash and the
yeah.
blowback,
Yeah.
right? And the CGI on that was as good, if not even better.
Yep.
And that's just using Adobe After Effects. So I mean, what some guys are doing, how we're looking at movies now, we're talking like big studios.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, like I guess I get it to a certain degree. Like, this is how Brandon Lee died. Like it was.
Well, yeah,
it was-
a bullet, but it wasn't. Do we
I
have
guess-
enough time to go into that?
I guess that's right. Yeah, there was a screw up.
There was. Well, I
was
don't even
a
know if
big-
it was a screw.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't get
All
into
right,
it.
we're gonna go someplace else with this.
But like when you see Bruce Willis in Die Hard, and he's like Bruce Willis, like he has that like I'm shooting my gun face,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't have that face if the gun wasn't going off in his face.
That's true. Yeah, that's very
like,
true. Like
you
I mean,
know.
you can. It's like the old Steven Seagal movies and stuff like that, where he's
Yeah.
like every time he pulled the trigger,
You could
he
just kind
was
of, you know, what I
blanking,
mean?
right?
Or but even like on
And it
Heat,
was-
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
Heat,
yeah.
like the gunfight in Heat,
Oh, yeah.
the like
all
concussion
practical,
of
all
the
practical.
concussion of like the rifles going off,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. They wouldn't have been able to do that now. Like
And you can go see you've got some pretty cool stuff gun wise in your museum. That's pretty gnarly too. He's got. I don't want to tell any. Well, we can tell them what they.
Yeah,
what you got in there. Yeah.
we've kind of focused on like all different aspects. So we've got what they call hero guns, which they're usually high detailed, machined aluminum, light up electronic. They do everything that it looks like it can do on screen. Then you go down the different stages through stunt and rubber, and like we were talking about earlier, the further they are away from the camera, the less detail they have on them. It's the same weapon for all intents and purposes, but when you see them up close, it's like, like how did he get away with this, right?
Yeah.
But it's like we've tried to focus on having a little bit of everything. So we've got sci-fi, we've got action, we've got stuff from the original Assault on Precinct 13. Just like old school stuff.
Yeah.
And like the one I showed you the other day, the pistol whip gun.
Yeah.
So realistic, but weighs like 3 or 4 grams. It's just
Really?
made it's just
It's
made
meant to hit the guy in the head. So like if you're gonna butt him one,
Yeah.
So he
as
surprised me.
hard
He's
as you
like,
want.
yeah, check this out. Boop, and just pops me in the head. I'm like, son of a gun. I'm like, thing's got nothing to it. The werewolves
Yeah.
that you have in your museum are ridiculous. And some of the video that you were showing us of just like when you look at this thing, it's like it looks like a statue, but it's just rubber. And then they and it moves around and everything like that. It's totally gnarly. Like it's super. Cool.
We're on a couple of forums. There's one of them, the Practical Effects group. They actually posted the Wolfman that we have on display.
Nice.
Today they posted that on the forum, had a huge listening, and everybody was going through it. And it's like you try to explain to people when you have something like that that won an Oscar,
Yeah.
right? And the one next to it won an Oscar, and the one next to that won an Oscar. So you've got almost like an effects gallery of Rembrandts and Picassos, because these are the screen used pieces that actually won an Oscar.
Right.
Doesn't get any better than that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's right here in Edmonton. So
Right
I
here
mean
in
that's
Edmonton.
it's just
which
like
is really really cool.
it is.
So
Like,
you brought us a couple of other pieces. Let's talk. So you got well, tell us about these.
Yeah, so I brought again just an example. Some of these aren't in the museum yet.
We'll have to be super descriptive because a lot of people will just be listening to it on their headphones. So,
Look
So-
at the hair in that chest.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Rub that nipple.
So it's everything's practical based. Yeah, we've got the set of original boots from the prison scene in Face Off. They're marked.
oh, those electrical ones.
Yeah, Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage number 3 inside. They made lots and lots for all the different extras and stuff. So
Right.
screen matching them is pretty much impossible. But it's got some good production notes inside. Then you've got the infamous belly flap from Click, made by Rick Baker. Just looks like a guy's chest.
It's a dude's chest with a giant belly
And hair.
and hairy.
It's basically a silicone belly flap with all the right features, all the hair hand punched, right skin tones, and it's basically a set of pajamas that Adam Sandler would put on
Yeah.
and then put a wardrobe on top and then do the scene that he did, which
Nice.
turned out really well, a really good effect.
Yeah.
And like for those who can't see it, like I'm about 5 feet away from it, and I would swear, like
Oh, it
if it
looks-
didn't have arms and a head,
Yeah.
if it had arms and a head, it looked legit. Like it's as realistic as you can
Like
get.
even the like the imperfections in like the human skin
yeah,
is
like
there.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
blemishes and like the little tiny moles here and there, like. It's ridiculous on how accurate that is on just real.
And again, when like Rick Baker's gone into so much detail here, when you look at that scene, you could actually screen match this piece because of the hair pattern. It's like
makes sense, yeah.
everything's done one at a time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do two of them exactly the same would be almost impossible. Right?
right, yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And then you've got the zombie gauntlet from World War Z. That's the one that Brad Pitt wraps his arm in when they're trying to get to the helicopter in the apartment complex for an escape. Really cool piece. It's
That looks like a real. I mean, that's an actual magazine.
it's actually it's a fake magazine.
Oh, it's a fake magazine.
So the cover is just photoshopped, and the magazine inside is I think it's a foreign magazine. So it's not real.
no way.
That's but it, like even man, I wish everybody could see this, but even the
Well, they can.
the
They
bottom
just
of the
gotta go.
pages.
They just got to go to his museum.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's, just
Yeah.
put on come to Edmonton and go to the museum for sure.
Well,
That's
that is-
amazing.
that's crazy. It's
crazy.
And then you've got a set of teeth up here.
Yeah. Austin Powers. Everybody loves Austin Powers.
Yeah,
We joke about it like with a smile like that. We can't believe he shagged anybody, right?
No
But it's,
doubt.
It's
It's that British charm.
yeah, it's up.
yeah.
But again, made by Gary Archer, another absolutely phenomenal artist, British guy, lives in LA, and his work is there are actors who just go to him because the realism and the quality allows them to act and emote and not look like you're wearing
Right.
fairground teeth.
Yeah. So crazy.
Very cool.
Wow.
What I love about in the museum is the stages that you have. Like your one of your displays has just like from the molding, the casting stage up to like the actual when they pull the cast off and there's the actual mold and then the very like I love that. And for anyone who's a movie fan to see that process is pretty cool. If you're a real movie fan, if you're really into it, that's pretty cool.
And I think a lot of people they come in and the one of the hardest things is to get people to understand that everything in there is original and screen used and production made. It's not cosplay, it's not replica. So when you go in there and you see something, they stand and they go, "Man, I didn't realize how much detail was in this."
Yeah.
Because it is literally flashed on screen for maybe 10, 15 seconds.
Right.
But when you're standing there and you can spend 5 minutes looking at something, it's like, wow, there's a lot of time and a lot of effort went into these, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing the alien suit.
Yeah.
The original from Alien, and it actually, it's actually
Yeah.
scary. Like you actually you're like, well, you kind of think to Sigourney Weaver, and you're like, if this thing
If it's
came
coming at
at
you in
you
the dark
in
with
the
the
dark,
strobes and everything.
in the smoke and stuff, it's like, yeah, you'd be fucking scared.
sketched out.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be crazy.
Well, it's like
It's a lot.
Underworld. Like I love the behind the scenes. Like I love the behind the scenes of the original Batman. When they go behind with Tim Burton and
Yep.
they show all just the nitty gritty. Like I mean, it's dark. It's
Yeah.
true light, lack of their light and whatnot. Super, super cool. And it was real costumes. Like they put the work in. And then like Underworld, they go behind the scenes when they make those werewolves, and they've got these guys running around on prototype legs and how this werewolf's gonna move and the stilts and whatnot. But then when they show the props department, like feathering in hairs individually, each hair, and like we're talking like
No, they're
and
hairy.
by hand,
Yeah,
like not a
yeah.
sewing machine, like hundreds of hours of just pulling it in.
Yep.
I mean, that has to be appreciated, and sometimes it only gets like a second of screen
Exactly.
time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a passion, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be into it. Can you imagine doing that all day, every day if you didn't like it?
Ugh.
You know?
Well, that actually brings me. So, like, I did, I mean, so you, like you mentioned earlier, you didn't do this your whole life.
Nope.
You got up one morning and
Yeah.
kind of, so what did you do before? And then what day, when did you, because I'm always so fascinated, because a similar thing happened to me not too long ago. And what makes somebody say, you know what I'm doing right now is no bueno, and I'm going to move on to something else.
Yeah, so we, the wife and I worked for the same company for 13 years, and you just get to a point where every day is no longer a challenge, right?
Right.
You know, and you get there and it's like, just the monotony. So
Yeah.
if you're not being challenged, you find yourself just going through the rigors, and it's no fun anymore, right?
Right.
So when we had the opportunity, we went and did a stint in the Middle East, and when we came back, we had the opportunity to redirect our career course. And I used to joke, people would say, why'd you buy so many props? I say, well, these are going to be my retirement,
Yeah.
you know. And we had the opportunity, and it was just, it's something I thought Edmonton would really appreciate. We got a fantastic theatre scene here, and,
Totally.
you know, and Alberta itself has a really good movie scene.
Yeah.
So I think if people could come and actually see this kind of stuff, because unless you're in my basement or Hollywood, you're not going to see it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I figured it'd be
That's super cool.
worth a go.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
what was
wicked.
your wife doing before that? What was your wife doing?
She's always been in recruitment and immigration.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, very
So
cool.
she's working for a college downtown now.
Right. Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, passion rules all, man. Like when you're, I mean, it's so funny because some people would be looking at it going like, oh, that's kind of weird. But it's like, there's a couple people that say, it's no different than a guy collecting baseball cards. It's no different than a guy, who wants to drive around a racetrack, 500 miles an hour.
True.
It's a passion. Everybody has a
Yeah.
different one. And this is super, super unique. I really want to learn more. Like, so you must have some connections, like, down in LA or like,
Since we, like I said earlier, when you collect and you get a collection which has enough size of decent pieces, then you start to get introduced to people. I mean, and it's like, don't get me wrong, my collection's good.
Yeah.
But there are collections out there which is in six figures, right?
Right.
And it's some of them it's not. I wouldn't pay six figures for them because it's not my thing, right? But some people really do, and they've got some iconic stuff. And I get the privilege of actually talking to those people now, because of the connections we built up as we collected.
Right.
But I think it's, it's really difficult to get past the point if it's not something you're into, people see it, right?
Yeah.
Like when we did the museum, it was important that we did it as a non-profit because validation's everything. You know, we didn't just want to be an open space that people could come and see. We wanted to have like some kind of learning capacity in there, so people come in, you'll see how it's done, and we show all the different stages through each one, from conception all the way through to what actually gets to screen. So it was important to us to have the gallery feel, but also have the true museum experience. You go to a museum to see stuff that you'll not see anywhere else. And getting that validation was really important. So the non-profit, and then also getting the support of industry artists. We're lucky enough to have that now. We have some great friends, Barney Burnham, V. Neal. They're all on our website. You can go on there, click, it'll take you to the bios. These guys are Oscar-winning effects artists.
Yeah.
And I get the privilege to talk to them. So,
Yeah.
You can't complain about that.
So that's super cool. So you are running as a nonprofit, which is really neat. And then, so the other thing I wanted to ask you was some of the other stuff that you're involved with. And we've had a chat before too in regards to you guys. How are you attached to the movie release that's coming out?
Barney Burnham.
Okay.
So Barney won the Oscar for Star Trek 2009.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Barney's pieces. We met with Barney last year down in LA. Told him what was going on and what we were doing. He's been a big supporter of the museum. And then the movie he made an independent horror movie called Wild Boar. It's how to describe Wild Boar. If you imagine Planet of the Apes with pigs instead of apes.
Yeah.
And that movie had a one-night stand with Wrong Turn and The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
That bastard baby would be Wild Boar.
Oh Jesus.
So yeah, that's basically that's that in
Sounds
a nutshell.
awesome.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
We watched it. I had the privilege to watch it. It was absolutely great, and I think it's to be able to do a premiere, because it doesn't have distribution yet. So if we can get in before it gets distribution, I know Marty wants that, but if we can get in before it gets distribution, then we get to show it in Edmonton, red carpet, Hollywood style.
Yeah.
At the Garnu Theatre, October 26th.
Awesome.
That's
So
sweet.
Barney's coming in with a bunch of the cast. So it's going to be really good. Tickets are available online at the propmuseum.com.
Yeah.
So
Right on. So are you a horror fan?
I am.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've always
Okay.
been a horror fan.
Good stuff. So what's a good horror movie that's come out lately?
Ooh.
That's qualifies in your eyes. Props.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah.
I'm not a big horror guy, but I mean, there's
yeah.
some of the newer stuff that's coming out.
I can
it's
tell you what
like
scared the shit out of me.
What scared the shit out of you?
Hereditary.
Yes.
Hereditary.
Yes,
Oh,
that was a strange movie.
Get the
That
fuck
was a
out of here.
strange
That
movie.
thing, like, gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like, you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe.
Floating
I've
headless
seen it.
corpse and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just
Yeah.
Legit.
this. I mean, spoiler. Can we spoil? Who cares? It's been out
How
for.
long's the movie been out?
No, you can't spoil that. It's an old movie. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
Okay,
spoil
no,
it.
don't
Yeah.
spoil
So
it.
like this possessed lady cuts her own head off with piano wire,
Oh.
And floats.
and while she's floating.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
one,
talking.
it's one of those movies. There's very few movies that come out now the way you get that
Little
the tingle in the back of your neck,
Yeah.
and it really
It
they
was
did,
like-
they did that
Oh,
good.
shit.
Yeah.
This is next level.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of like this, like the 60s, 70s horrors that
Yeah.
were really like the Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist. They had that just like bad feeling. You're like, no, I have to, like,
You know
I
that
can't
scene in
do
a horror
it.
movie where people are talking like this and the door open in the background, and then you just see somebody shoot across really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like, oof,
Yeah.
hairs on the back of your neck.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
That movie's full of
Yeah.
that.
I find like a lot of movies are doing that though. Like what's the other one there? Like Us and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
they always do like that really creepy.
just
I haven't
creepy.
seen it, but I heard like it's
That's a good
it's
movie.
pretty
Yeah.
gnarly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty out there. So some of those movies are really starting to like
They're getting like they're going more psychological,
More
whereas like for
psychological.
90s and 2000s were way more about like the jump scares
Yeah.
or the gore,
yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing, and you kind of get descent because the human body, like you can work through that. Like
yeah.
the more you get exposed, the
Yeah.
like more desensitized you get. But when it's actually uses your own imagination against
Yeah.
you, sort of thing, it's you
Well,
never
that's
get.
the best.
Oh.
Psychological horror is the way to go. Like I
Yeah.
mean, that's where you want that your brain to tell the story. Or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want your brain to tell the story and not tell the story for
Well,
you.
like a classic example, the original Blair Witch.
Oh yeah, there's
You
no
know,
yeah.
Some people thought, man, what a load of shit, right? And
Yeah.
I watched that movie, and it was like, I thought it was genuinely terrifying at
Yeah.
the end, right?
Yeah.
You know, when
Totally.
like she's screaming and the camera goes, that's like, that was so well done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they bring a sequel out and completely destroy it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it was a
Well,
complete waste
Hollywood
of
got
time.
involved.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those, that when you've got something, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix
Don't
it, right?
fix it.
Right.
So,
Totally.
Well, and the way they marketed that movie was phenomenal because
Yeah.
they marketed like it was like we found footage in a bush and this is what came out of that footage.
Yeah.
And then they were like reporting where people were throwing up at like in the movie theaters, and apparently they were. But it was
was from the
It
shakiness.
was from the shakiness.
It
They
was
were
from-
getting
yeah,
vertigo.
they were getting vertigo.
And people were like, "Oh no, they're throwing up because it's so scary. It's so
Yeah.
free." And that's how like, the reports came out, and that just like skyrocketed.
Well,
it was like 13,000.
that was crazy.
It was like so
was the
cheap.
it was
to
the
make that
highest
movie.
profit margin of any film
Yeah.
ever.
Oh yeah, like it was like 13 grand to make the whole film
Yeah,
in total.
and it made like 130 million
Yeah.
or something crazy.
Yeah.
back in the day.
and that's
you
kind
know?
of like, I mean, that goes back to like the Kevin Smith days where it is like, you know, a guy can go out, max out his mom's credit cards at
Yep.
33 grand and then
Put
turn a
together a
movie.
movie.
Now it didn't take off right off the bat, but it became a cult classic and look at him now.
Yep.
Like that's, and that kind of talent's here. Like that kind of stuff's happening here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
There's guys that are doing it. They just gotta,
I think it just takes that one person with a certain vision, you know, and everybody might be telling them, you know, don't do that, that won't work, don't do that. But if you've got that vision and you know in your heart it's going to work, give it a go, man. You know, it isn't that expensive to do it now, right?
no.
And
Well,
a
the
lot of
technology.
stuff can be fixed in post production as
No
well,
kidding.
right? So give it a go, and and again,
Yeah.
that's one of the goals for the museum. If I have somebody come through the museum and it ignites a fire in somebody, and they either go back and revisit a movie or they go on to be an artist or a director or an actor and make something great, it's
Yeah.
like job done. It's all been worthwhile for them then, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I know, like when I was a kid and my parents took me to like Disneyland, and then we go to like Universal Studios and stuff like that. I always loved the behind the scenes stuff, like the studio stuff. Like they'd show like the studio of Lucy, where it was like, oh, it's a 3-camera shoot, this, that, and I'm like taking pictures of the studio stuff. I couldn't care less about like the characters, the story. I like the backstory, like the how they made it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that stuff was super, super cool. And so like that's
Yeah.
a neat, because I mean, there's a lot of makeup artists. There's a lot of those types of people that are into that kind of stuff here in this city. And like I mean, it's worth every penny to come and see what you've got there. Just like you said, to ignite that fire.
Yeah.
And if
without
you
a
can
doubt.
ignite that fire, that's way.
Well, if you can get somebody to go back to their 9-to-5 job the next day and say,
Yeah.
get stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just built these set of robotic wings in my basement that like it needs to be it needs to be somewhere, and somebody needs to film it.
Or he's casting his boss's head so he can like deliver it in a box.
Oh, it's just like,
What's in the box?
yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's cool.
so that's super, super cool. And so like with the whole vision of the museum, where do you see it kind of going? What are your hopes and dreams for this?
You know what? We would. The plan is to get the museum up and running, get it so it's it's looking after itself, right?
Mhm.
And then we would love to be able to get into maybe a relocation or another venue. We started the brand, the EPM, the VPM, Vancouver Prop Museum,
Yeah.
the LA PM, got a ring to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think it's I'd love to get onto a platform where we'd be able to help people go to school, kids who can't afford the tuition fees and stuff, just try and get into that kind of side of things. Because, I'm 51 years old. I'm at the point where I've done everything I pretty much want to do with my career. So now if I can be in a position to help people boost theirs,
Yeah.
not the worst job in the world, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, if EPM can like do like a grant program
Yep.
or work with another, university or something like that,
Yeah.
and get people that are looking for that. And I mean, it'd be amazing to bring that to Edmonton. I mean, we've got Vancouver Film School, Toronto Film School, yada
Yeah.
yada yada. I mean, bring that to Edmonton, especially in the province where there's a crap ton of just movies being made here, like you were saying. Like, let's get all
Weren't
the
they
let's
just
get all the
which
arts
one were they
happening here.
just filming down just outside Calgary?
Oh, Jumanji?
Yeah.
Was it Jumanji that they were filming outside in the Badlands?
Yeah, because I know
Or
they
where
were
is
in the
it?
mountains for Jumanji.
Yeah.
no.
Nobody brought them up here.
No.
Nobody chased it.
No.
You know, but it's just
And
yeah.
I think Richard Gere just finished a film up here not too long ago. as well.
Willem Dafoe just finished a movie
Willem Dafoe, that's right.
a couple of months back in Rocky Mountain House.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain House.
Rocky Mountain.
Like throw a rock and you're there. Like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Shit.
that
Like-
shit's not going to happen now, Bryce.
Yeah, I know. What the
Not with
hell?
us around.
No, that's no. We're gonna be pulling.
Pounding the shit out of everybody.
If you're coming to Edmonton trying to do a movie, you cannot
if you
leave here
can
without
make
coming
if
talk
you
to
can
us.
make it 98% here,
Yeah. We'll get you the last two. I promise.
That's
I'll come
right.
drive. I'll drive your ass back here.
the hardest part is leaving your mansion in Los Angeles overlooking the ocean
Yeah.
and coming to Edmonton. That's the hard part. Once you got that under your belt, we'll take care of that.
Everything else is easy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's getting somebody to come in that 8-week window.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's
Or
right.
maybe on a Wednesday when summer is. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Wednesday evening.
Yeah. So what else? You got we got the Edmonton Expo coming up.
Yes.
You're
so
involved in some
yeah,
stuff
we've
with
just updated our calendar page on the propmuseum.com. We're at the Expo September 20th to the 22nd doing a superhero villains exhibit.
Oh,
Gnarly.
awesome.
We're going to have the 2 hero costumes from Wild Boar
Sweet.
there as well. A bunch of stuff from Spider-Man and the Tick, Green Goblin, Venom. All they're just showing people the different layers of development as it changes before it got to screen.
Yeah.
And then we come back, we do Halloween. So we were going to do Halloween, just one row exhibit. And now we've decided we're just going to turn the whole place for 6 weeks into Halloween.
Sweet.
Oh, that's
A whole
awesome.
bunch of zombies and severed limbs, body parts, effects rigs. Learn how a zombie gets shot in the head, all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
have it
Very
all there.
good.
And again, all screen used, all original. So.
Yeah. Well, your space is super cool, and I know you've talked about a little bit about doing some extra stuff in there as well. the surprise to come around that wall, at the beginning, like it's worth it. Like that's just so be sure, like if you're listening, be sure to go and check that out. The EPM, it's totally gnarly. Let's get into a couple other things here. Favorite movies. We talked a little bit about horror. Anything else you got out there that you pick apart?
Ooh, I can pick up on. Oh, we were just talking earlier about. This is my first podcast. It's
Yeah.
It's such a unique kind of platform for people just to let rip, right? You can come in, you can speak your mind. It's fantastic. I would love to see more of this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
If we could get like you two facing off against Kevin Smith and Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
You hear that, Kevin Smith?
You might have to put your fan on in here. Right?
We love Kevin Smith. No, man, be an honor. You guys are talking about you'd seen one of Jason Mewes' new movies, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Madness and the Method.
How was that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Worth
can't
it, eh?
Can't recommend it enough. It was really good.
Really?
Jason Mewes has always been,
Yeah.
he kind of grew up with the guy, right?
Yeah,
And he's had his challenges. He's on top of it. It's fantastic. And to see him direct this, it was, you've got a movie where. I can't put a spoiler in there, but Vinnie Jones plays a really good part,
Yeah.
and Danny Trejo plays a brilliant part.
Danny Trejo.
It's like
Danny Trejo. I don't think Danny Trejo can't play a brilliant part.
Oh,
I don't know why. I just like that guy.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
Actually, my wife and I, we just watched From Dusk Till Dawn the other day. It came out on Netflix. She'd never seen it before. And so, she's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is retarded, right?
Like, this is how they made movies back.
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
movies were back then.
But, we hadn't even gotten to the, she didn't even know it was a vampire. So we're, getting into it, and it's just, he's
Yeah.
cursing and swearing, and then, the brother starts killing, the
Yeah.
hostage and stuff, and she's like, this is retarded. Then all of a sudden, Buddy gets his head
and
kicked
then,
off
yeah.
by the vampire, and she's like, what the hell?
It's a vampire movie. It's awesome.
that was one of those examples. It's like, what else can we do?
Yeah.
What else can we do? Cock gun. That's
Yeah.
what we need. We need
Oh,
a cock
gee,
gun.
yeah.
There we go. Tom Savini made me a cock gun.
Tom Savini.
It's like, yeah.
The king.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like we'll just do whatever we can.
Yeah.
And George Clooney was phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh,
Tarantino was awesome, so-
And I mean, those movies were they're cult classics. They're iconic. They're gonna be, they're the shit forever.
Well, I think it was in a time when there was brave filmmaking.
Yes.
When there was
Yeah.
brave. Now you have to go independent to see those films. But back then Hollywood was putting money behind
Yep.
just some crazy shit, some stuff that just a guy had a vision and they're like, yeah, let's go with it. Who cares?
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of become a little bit safe.
Well,
that
and I think
sense.
back then, it's kind of like the hip hop and rap scene. It was always about pushing the boundaries
Right.
and pushing the boundaries. But I feel like we've kind of gotten, we've pushed all the boundaries. We talk about horror movies now. We talk about gore, blood, guts. You go to you want the top end gore, blood, guts. Watch Saving Private Ryan. Watch some of the war films that are coming out now, and it's just all right, we've shown it, seen it all, right? Back then, it was they were still trying to open those doors, and every little piece that they did was just that much more edge to it.
Yeah.
And so people were like, "Holy shit!"
Well,
they
they
can't believe
always-
they
Yeah.
show.
They showed what?
Yeah, they're tits on screen. What the hell? And it was
I grew up in England in the 80s.
Yeah.
And that's when they had they called it the video nasty. Mary Whitehouse banned movies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Child's Play was a video nasty. They removed it from all the shelves, right?
Yeah.
Zombie Flesh Eaters, anything Lucio Fulci, anything that was violent, you couldn't watch
Yeah.
it. You could watch a doctored version of it.
yeah.
Right. Been out there.
And now you put Netflix on and your head explodes. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
How can you
Yeah.
show that?
Yeah.
It's like,
I always thought that I didn't. I thought London was always. I thought the UK was always ahead of us. I thought they were always doing I know. Here's crazy. I'm gonna tell you a little story right quickly about some crazy shit. So
That's what we're here for.
this is what we're here for. So years ago, I was working for a production company, and these kids showed up. These 4 kids showed up, and they were from Castlegar, BC, and they worked with us on production for 3 weeks. And I promise you, this story is going somewhere to where we were just talking. But they worked for us for 3 weeks. I come out of the shop one day, and these kids are getting in the truck, and that fucking truck's been there for 3 weeks. I'm like, hey guys, this truck hasn't moved in 3 weeks. What's going on? He's like, oh no, we've been sleeping in here. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, we're out of gas. Okay, what are you talking about? They literally like gas and dash to get from Castlegar, BC to Edmonton. So I had a house in Mortonville at the time, and I'm like, okay, you guys, like, fuck, this is stupid. Like, let's get some gas in your truck, get your truck to the house, and we'll hang out. And so anyway, I was like, well, why you got a big cab and the big box in the back? Why all our band shit's in there? So these guys, long story short, these guys are like this crazy heavy metal band, and they're like the whole paint, like the army fatigues, like the drummer was this guy named Nick. And he wore a gas mask, and he played drums with this giant, like, military gas mask and stuff. So anyway, so whatever. These guys are sleeping in my basement for like 6 months. And I'm like,
shit.
fucking freaky, right? And they're nuts. And so they're showing me these because they were really big into like German stuff and the German horror scene and like old stuff and the boundaries those guys were pushing was like Jesus, like where they were butchering like real pigs on film to like get the blood, the gush, the reality, right? So these guys are showing me like Rammstein videos and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, check this out! Like we picked this up." No, I don't know. This guy might have been full of shit, but he's like, "Oh, we found this stuff on like the black sites and stuff like that." And this is the internet's not that great. This is still Best Buy days, like just after, right? 2002, 2004. And he says, "Yeah, we found this shit on the black internet." And it's like these metal bands, and it's like garbage film. But he's like stabbing a pig in the top of the head and like holding it over his mouth, and like the shit's like flowing in his face and stuff like that. He's got his like his mic stands wrapped in barbed wire, and he's like smashing against his body. And I'm like, this is Europe? Like those guys.
That was your idea of what
That
Europe
was my idea what Europe
Just
was.
a bloodbath.
Just a freaking bloodbath. Like, these guys are nuts. I'm like, these guys, fucking Ozzy Osbourne ain't got shit on these guys. Like, and so I always thought London was further ahead on the whole movie scene in Britain. But, and I mean, even like when you go into like Monty Python's, like Life of Brian and like the big fat guy and it's like the food.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's like pretty.
But that was more
but
that's satire.
It's
like,
satire,
that's
but it's like
not.
To me, it's like, ugh, like that's kind of horror-ishy to me. Like, just the way it looked and like the yucky stuff and like it. So I was really surprised that they'd allow that to flow through, but like not like Chucky. Like, I mean Chucky was freaky in the sense of that little like freaky.
There was a big case. A kid got killed, and the two kids that killed him reenacted some scenes out of Child Play. So that sealed the fate of that whole franchise, right? But this Mary Whitehouse, she was a character. She basically just cleaned house. If it wasn't Mary Poppins, you didn't get to watch it. So they kind of like any of the really gory stuff, like the Italian zombie movies and stuff.
Yeah, the Italian, like you want crazy shit.
I've
like
heard
Italy in the 70s. Like 80s, like
Dario Argento, all that stuff. They basically anything that was like excessively gory, was just done. And I've seen movies. I'd watched the movie and then I saw the White House version where it was allowed to be on the thing, and it was like two different movies. It's like you'd put it on and it'd be like titles. What?
It's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Anyway, they went into a house and then they came out again.
And that was it.
It was uneventful.
So it was a Mary Whitehouse? So was she like a political...
Yeah, I don't know her official title. Some kind of politician. She was into censorship.
Yeah, because they did a lot of music too got censored.
Yeah, like
around that
pornography.
time.
Britain didn't have pornography till like I think it was in the early 2000s.
Wild.
Yeah, that was like you talk about a censored movie. They go in the house and come out, and that was it. Titles.
Yes.
Anything that went on didn't go on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Through the window, you could see the picture shake, and it would go off, and then he'd come back out. That's it. It's like
70s bass in the background. That's
Yeah.
So.
Well, that is crazy. I mean, like I didn't know that the censorship had gotten over the ocean into something like that as well. Because I mean, again, that when rap music came out here, like NWA, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, it was the same shit. Like there was this, some.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we had the Sex Pistols, right? So they were like the first real band to be banned from TV, for swearing on live TV.
Crazy.
And they would, the start of the whole punk thing, spitting into the crowd.
I was just gonna say, like LA's punk scene was gnarly. I mean, along with Britain as well. Like your guys' punk scene was super cool.
Yep.
Revolutionary really. I mean, like they were big influencers. I mean, you know, I guess when you really think about like the Beatles, I mean,
The Beatles were they
were like Satan.
they like some of their stuff was like that was like
Yeah.
hard rock, like for
Yeah.
what, you know, they
And people were like really fighting them, and the girls are freaking out. But there were people like, "Oh no, this
oh
is
they were
too
like they were
edgy.
the first
This
they were
is
the first
crazy."
boy band, and they were
Yeah.
the first rock band in a lot
Yeah.
of ways. Like it's kind of interesting, you know.
That's
But
so wild.
yeah,
There's another
wild.
movie. It's about the story of Kiss and about like a bunch of kids trying to get to a Kiss concert, and it's the
Detroit
mother's
Rock
like,
City.
Detroit Rock City. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what a great movie. But that's like, again, all about censorship where the parents are like, oh, like, you know, it's the devil music. And it's like, when you play it backwards, it's nothing but comedy. But that's super, super funny. Yeah. So, I mean, like, so movies in LA. So, yeah, you kind of, and did you grow up in LA?
No.
No. So you
Grew up in England.
or sorry, LA. Sorry, I meant England. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I grew up in England, and I lived in Texas for a while.
Yeah.
Worked all over the world. Worked in the West Indies. Came to Canada in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, all just work related. I came over on a 3-month gig and loved it that much. I signed a deal within 6 weeks. And
Wow.
then never went back. Met my wife.
And
Rest is history.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here with Adam Sandler's belly flap.
Yeah.
That's
Living the dream,
North
people.
America.
My life is complete.
Oh, North America,
Yeah.
baby. Like anything can happen.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to
Welcome to Canada. Yeah.
Welcome to Canada.
Stick in at school, kids.
Yeah. So do you get to go? Like, do you end up going down to LA or any of these? You know, these.
I got a lot of friends, a lot of industry friends. Got some really good, close personal friends down there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we like it. It's a. If I could, I would live there.
Yeah.
Between here and there.
Yeah.
Just float the seasons.
Yeah.
Because LA's got, you know, it's got some absolutely phenomenal places to hang out.
Oh yeah.
Places to live.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's like driving through a movie, right?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know?
Well, I remember going my very first time and actually standing in front of the Man's Chinese Theater, you know, like and standing there and for that 5 seconds, you're just like, oh my God, like,
Yep.
or, you know, you go to Beverly Hills and you're like, it's Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Like it's Rodeo Drive. It's actually like, this is the movies,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
yep.
it's really kind of cool. Like to,
I think one of
we don't
the
get to see that stuff.
one
here.
of the biggest like sort of eye-opening things I saw. I took it so much for granted, but when I saw on the beach the power station in the background from Point Break,
Oh,
Oh no way.
no way.
yeah.
Like who goes on vacation take pictures of a power station?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
like that was the power station. So
Yeah.
Well, I
know.
know, like when we went last March. Yeah, you're driving around and you're reading all the street signs, and you're just like, I know that. I know
Yeah.
that. I know
Yeah.
that. It's like, fuck, I know LA.
Yeah.
I've seen and heard all this in the movies, and it's that's pretty cool. Like you said, like Rodeo Drive and like Beverly Hills and
Yeah.
like I'm trying to think of the name of it now. We're from 2.5 Men, where Charlie Sheen lives. But just it's just neat to see that stuff, and it's like, oh, this is legit. Like, you know,
It's like a real place.
yeah.
you know, and the thing is when you get into the back like Granada Hills and stuff where it's like old school Hollywood, you know, and you go past the really huge mansions and you get into the older properties that are up in
Yeah.
the hills, you know, and it's just like, man, you just the stories those places could tell, right?
Yeah, like the sort of the mid-century
Yeah,
old Hollywood.
yeah, the ones up in the hills, you know, it's
yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
yeah.
That is wild. What's the new Tarantino movie that just came out with?
Once upon a
Once
time.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. So I think a lot of that stuff. Be
I haven't
based
seen
around
it
that.
yet. I've
Me
been,
Yeah, me
I've been,
neither. I
I've been
haven't seen
told
it.
it's his best
Yeah.
to date. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Eh? All I've ever heard is because I'm a Bruce Lee fan, though, is like how pissed his daughter is about how Bruce Lee was.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he
I
was
can't.
portrayed. I read that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's the
But,
only
I
thing
mean,
I've heard.
but Tarantino, I mean, like the thing is, like, I don't know. I'll have to see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's always. But Tarantino's like, dude, I met him. Like that's how he is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like, I don't. What do you say? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like Tarantino, he doesn't mince words. He's kind of just like whatever. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. I watched a video the other day about interviews with like celebrities that have gone bad. And this guy is like asking him questions, and he's like, "I'm here to promote my fucking movie. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
asking me?"
Yeah.
He's like, why the fuck are you asking me?
Yeah.
And he's like he's pissed.
Yeah.
But just the look on his face, like when his chin folds up, like he's like pissed. Like
Yeah, he gets mad.
Like the only time I've ever seen him is like when he acted like that From Dusk Till Dawn when
Yeah.
he was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, do you know who this guy is? He's gonna knife you in the neck. Like, and yeah, like he does not. Yeah.
Well, there's a recent interview where he was at a convention and some reporter asked him like, oh, how come you don't your last like couple of films, like you didn't write any like strong women like lead
Oh,
parts,
jeez.
and he was just looking like he was like, and he just said, he's like, are you gonna ask me like an actual question? And he just kind of says like, he's like, I come up with I come up with a movie
Yeah,
and then I write the characters and it is what it is. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I think
You know?
he kind of put some in the bank with like Kill Bill.
That's
you
what I
know,
mean. Kill Bill. It,
Yeah,
right.
I
it
think,
was
yeah,
only
you
like
get to
an
buy it for a little
entire,
bit.
yeah.
The whole
you
entire
know?
movie was females and
Yeah.
insanely strong females.
Yeah, they're just chopping people up with swords.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I know. But anyways,
Some
it was
people-
interesting that he doesn't. I like that he doesn't. He's himself.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
take it or leave it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, love them or hate them, but Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, they're good to watch, right?
Yeah.
You know, they both. I mean, The Wolf of Wall Street's one of my
Oh
favorite
my
movies.
God!
you
Right?
know?
It's just
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much.
yeah.
And Brad
Yeah.
Pitt just goes from strength to strength.
Right.
He's a presence on screen. You know.
Yeah.
Well, they look good together. Like when I saw like the previews, I'm like, this looks like they look like they could be like the next buddy cop movie,
Yeah.
right? and
Yeah.
it'd be a pretty dope movie. Like I'd watch it, that's for sure. Like
Yeah.
I've always liked Brad Pitt, so that's that's a whole nother ball game. Rob Zombie. I mean, if you're into the horror stuff. And you like the prop stuff, because I'm sure there's a gazillion and one things like Dr. Satan stuff and whatnot.
You see quite a bit out there.
Love to try and get a guy's hands on. Like I love Rob Zombie stuff. Like I was, between Nine Inch Nails and White Zombie, those are the first bands I ever listened to when I was a kid, and so I followed Rob Zombie for forever.
You see a lot of like the asylum masks from Halloween and stuff like that.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's,
Yeah, yeah.
But again, it's. I think he sells a lot of stuff himself, which obviously you're going to get the real deal. But there's also a lot of stuff on private hands, which just because of the nature of the prop, you could.
Yeah, yeah.
Questionable, I guess.
Right, yeah. And then like for like, I guess this is a little off topic but it's kind of in the realm of like creating cool stuff like this. Like I love Todd McFarlane, like the Spawn stuff and whatnot. It's a lot of his like just it's not props, but it's action figures, but the same kind of like detail and attention goes into it, and that stuff's pretty cool too. I like that a lot. So, well, that's pretty cool, man. What else you got coming up? So you got the movie coming up. Release, you said October
26th, yeah, at the Gonu. Then we're going to do Halloween all the way through to about the 16th of November.
All right.
And then we're going to switch it out and do Christmas, The Grinch.
Oh, hey, that'll be
the Grinch.
cool.
A little bit of Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Oh, frick! Right now, bringing the Canadian back to Canada.
Can't beat a bit of Whoville.
Yeah. And so you've got some stuff
Yeah,
already
I've got some
secured
stuff,
for
some
that
appliances
whatnot?
and a whole bunch of teeth and yeah.
Yeah. We saw Whoville when we were in LA last, and it's like I didn't know they built that entire set like a styrofoam or something like that. Like it's like the whole set, like you can go through Whoville.
Yeah.
And it's like outside, so like the sun has just beat the crap out of it. Like it looks pretty rough.
Right.
But the fact that like you're like looking at wow, this was Whoville. Like it's the whole entire town right here. It's pretty neat. Like that.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be really cool.
I think the character, the Grinch, is one of those examples of practical effects at its finest, right?
Right.
You know, Jim Carrey pulled off a performance when literally he couldn't see out of the lenses he was wearing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's just it's a mark to him as an actor, but it's also a mark to Rick Baker as an artist, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do that and have somebody pull off such a phenomenal role is,
Pretty crazy.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been like, I mean, same thing. If they made that movie now, it would have been a CGI character. Would have been motion cap
Maybe. Yeah.
for like almost guaranteed. Like
Yeah.
I was watching a little documentary thing on just some behind the scenes stuff on Justice League,
Oh yeah.
and you look at
Oh,
like
yeah.
Cyborg,
Mhm.
and he was just in a jumpsuit
Yeah. The big green
with a face
jumpsuit.
with just like a little face appliance,
Yeah.
like just like a little on his one side.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
But everything else is just a jumpsuit with
motion capture stuff,
motion
yeah.
capture stuff, and it's just so even like if you're an actor again, like, and you're standing on a platform and it's a green screen behind you and a dude in a gray jumpsuit,
That's what
They're
we talked
yell-
about earlier. The pew pew.
What do you
pew.
do? Like, what do you do?
They're yelling at you. Now act like it's coming at your head.
You got it.
What the fuck is coming at my like?
Pay attention. The fate of the world is at stake. There's an explosion.
What?
You know, the aliens are.
Throw a tennis ball at me.
Like, no wonder the movies suck. You know.
Oh, and that movie was in pretty rough shape.
It was
So you got we've got Halloween coming up. We've got the Edmonton Expo coming up here,
Yep.
and that's dates on that are
We start 2nd of October
2nd of
through
October.
to the 16th of November for the Halloween exhibit.
Oh, for the Halloween
Yeah,
exhibit, okay,
the expo is the 20th to the 22nd.
of September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of September.
Gotcha. Okay, and where can they go to find you if they want to find out more information?
Thepropmuseum.com.
Propmuseum.com. You're over on 124th Street, and what was it again?
108.
108.
10838 124th Street.
Yeah, be sure to go check that place out. It is super cool.
108. That's actually, and yeah, a lot of good places to eat around there.
Oh
too.
yeah, there's actually a pretty cute little coffee shop, just like
Yeah.
your next door neighbor.
Bark
which
and
is-
Buffalo, they're the girls in there are fantastic. Make a
Yeah.
good cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we're trying to sell 124th is because before or after you come to see us, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 124. There's actually been a big kind of resurgence
Yep.
on 124. It's been
Man, and when you go
Unbelievable.
down that street at night, it is so lit up
That's
so
cool.
nicely.
Yeah.
Like it's like they've actually done a really good job in Edmonton in that sense for like Jasper and 124th. Like you go down there, it's gorgeous down there at night. Providing it's not bad weather or anything like that, but it's absolutely beautiful. So so EPM, be sure to check it out. We've got Darren here today. We're just about out of time. Want to thank everybody for joining us, and thank you, Darren, for joining us, bringing us some of these really wicked stuff.
letting us geek out for
Letting us geek
45
out
minutes.
for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And so be sure to go and check that out. Check out the website and bring the kids. Some of the cool stuff coming up with Halloween, with the Edmonton Expo. Some great partnerships there to really make some noise here in Edmonton when it comes to the movie scene. So Darren, thank you so much for joining
Hey,
us.
thanks
Thanks,
for having
Darren.
me. It's been
Super
great.
awesome to have you out. And that's it for
And
today.
just
We'll
like
see you.
make sure to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe,
like,
subscribe, and like.
Download the
And,
podcast.
exactly.
Tell your
And,
friends.
check us out on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
We have a name now.
We have
I
a
mean,
name. We're
come
taking over the
on.
world.
We've got a name for God's sakes.
All right, kids. See you next week. Have a good one.
Take it easy.